Jamal Lascelles, captain of the club at the minute, coming in for criticism quite often. People are saying he should be out of the team, should be stripped of the captaincy. Was he at fault for the weekend? Debatable with the penalty. I mean, I don't know how you feel on that, but he shouldn't be sticking his leg out anyways. Again, it's a dive, but he shouldn't be sticking his leg out. Is that something Newcastle could look at, getting a new captain in January?
Yeah. When he was suspended and Wilson was made captain, I went on social media and said, keep him. And it wasn't for being disrespectful to Jamal, but Jamal was having a tough time. And listen, I had a tough time at Newcastle. It wasn't all rosy for all of us. We had to dig in and fight for the right to wear that shirt and have respect for the fans. But when you're captain of a club, or particularly captain of Newcastle, you're worried about everyone else apart from yourself. He needs to focus on himself, because it wasn't too long ago that people was tipping him to be in the England squad. And because how he was. And against Burnley, it was arguably one of his best games in the last probably 2 or 3 months, because he just did his job. He headed it, kicked it, tackled, passed it. That's all you got to do. Like I said, he was trying to play out from the back, giving it to John Jones. If he just gets the ball away, the other things doesn't happen. Like you said, he gave the referee the opportunity and Maddison to dive. In other words, he gave the opportunity. VAR wasn't going to come into for unknown reason, but that wasn't involved. But he gave the referee an opportunity, and when you do that, you're running the risk. And you rightly said that he dangled his leg. And listen, if it was the other end, how the game is, I'd want Wilson to go down and get a penalty. So let's be honest. Yeah, we're not saying we're squeaky clean and we won't do the same thing. That's the modern game now. But Jamal has got potential to be a very, very good player. What's happening at the moment, he's having a tough time. If it was me, I would bring him in front and say, listen, it's nothing to do with you as a person. We need as many captains as we can in this club. And at the moment, you don't need to be worried about flicking a coin, taking the mascots out, choosing what end. You need to focus on your game. Because if we get you focusing in your game, as well as the other good centre-halves we've got to potentially, Fernandes has come in and done well. There's talk about, the other pairing that did well against Burnley, that did well in other games. So the pressure's on, and that's what you want to have at Newcastle. So no one's got a divine right. I wasn't saying you should strip the captain's armband because he's not worthy, he's not good, he's disrespectful, like we've seen with other captains. He needs to just focus. I don't want to harp on the past, but we had, like, Shay Given was a good captain. Nikos at the back captain. Myself, Rob Lee, Gary Speed. Bobby had 5 or 6 captains, and as more captains you get, the better. Wilson obviously looks a leader. John Joe Shelby, his new lease of life that he's had. He looks like he's a leader and got something to say. And other players. So the more you have like that, the better it's going to be. I just felt for Jamal, he doesn't need to have the other pressure of being captain and worry about being your defender. And I would have had that chat with him and then had it chat with the media to say we're not stripping him of the armband, but what it is, he doesn't need to worry about that now. Wilson's at the moment, he's in the zone, he's playing, he's scoring goals. He's gonna be the way going forward, and I think that would be fine. You might have 1 or 2. Well, he should keep it and stick, but think of the player, think of the situation. Every situation is different, and that's why I come out and said, look, let Wilson have it for now, because he looks like he can handle it. He looks like he's in the zone. Let the other player just get himself going again. And that was where I stand. And I still stand that now. I think just take it off of him at the moment. Let him focus on his game. Let him focus on that. Because, as a captain, people don't know. You have to worry about certain things like giving tickets out. Who's got a car park here? What the captain's doing here? You've got to go to get players that are going to go to the hospital, going to go to the school. I would think, and hopefully it hasn't changed at the club, Newcastle, that's what a captain has to do. And that's why me, Rob Lee, Alan, as captains, we would delegate players, Kieran, Craig Bellamy. A senior player would go with a young kid to these events. So that's part of being he doesn't need to worry. He's got more to worry about dealing with his position on the field, because he's under threat now because he's not playing well. So let him focus on that.
Get him some consistency.
Exactly.
Is right, isn't it? Because like you say, he did play well against Burnley. Maybe that was the kick up the arse he needed when he missed out, and we've seen Fernandes do well off the bench. It might, especially coming into January, when I'm sure we're saying at least one centre back. The captaincies have been in the public eye today with Arsenal, obviously stripping Aubameyang of his captaincy. Do you think that we could sign somebody in January and just give them the armband immediately? So, for example, Tarkowski is captain of Burnley, he's heavily linked. Connor Cody, captain of Wolves, he's heavily linked. What's your thoughts on that? Because I'm not sure if you get into a dressing room and just, he has the armband. I think Solskjaer did it straight away with someone at Man United as well.
Yeah, I just
Where?
yeah, I think also depending on who the player is coming in. I think if Connor Cody coming in and said, "Listen, we're going to be," I think the players are okay. I get that. If it's just someone for the sake of it, and like I just touched on that, we haven't got abundance of from the outside looking in captains and leaders. We haven't got too many of them. You know, Richie, I think he's got a fire in his belly, but he doesn't play all the time. As I said, John Joe Shelby, you know, if you asked us 4 weeks ago, he ain't going to be in the team. We need to do something else. I mean, even now it's debatable because midfield, I think we're getting overrun a little bit. So, you know, as much as John Joe's done well in the last, you know, few weeks, you know, that doesn't cover up maybe where we are when we need to strengthen. So I would not have a problem if, like you said, a Connor Cody come walking through the door, or, you know, a player of high, you know, pedigree and experience comes in. I wouldn't see that a problem at all. And if I was in the changing room and he walked in, I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't have a problem with that. If you end up giving it to someone who, you know, with all due respect, we're not sure about, and, you know, is he really a leader, or are you just doing it to pass it on, then I think that's wrong. Eddie's to me doesn't seem a coach that would do that. He seems a coach that would think about it. I mean, he's articulate in the way he speaks. He's intelligent in the way he thinks as well, forward thinking. I think he would look at it and say, "Who is he a captain? Is he going to be the captain there for the next few years?" And I think he would have a conversation with the captains at the club already. If that was me, I think that's a big part of it as well. You know, Bobby did it to me with, you know, there was Rob Lee, there was Gary Speed, but Bobby said, "I'm making him captain because of what he does outside as well. It's not just, you know, Rob Lee was my captain when I first went, you know, or Peter Beardsley or Alan, and Gary because of Gary, you know, and things like that. So, but Bobby did it because of what I did on and off. So, and the other boys was fine about it. And to be honest with you, I said, you know, with all due respect, it's not going to change me. It's just a great honour wearing the armband. But it wasn't going to change me as a player, as a person. But the others, you know, it was great having their support and being behind us.
Exactly.